I'm going to hand things over to Jamie. Jamie, what is the value that accountants bring to sellers, and where does Acuity fit in the space?
I think we all know that. Stepping back, it was pretty high flying when the pandemic hit. People say things like 10 years of e-commerce, got accelerated forward. And so in those days when you could just spend money on Facebook and generate a whole bunch of sales, it was seemingly pretty easy, and a pretty frothy environment for e-commerce sellers and merchants. And in those circumstances, I think from the accounting side, it was more like, I think people would say it was more compliance and, gosh, I need to file my tax return. I probably need some financials. It was a little more a necessity. And perhaps even an afterthought when you're busy kind of just making money and growing sales. And in a world where they're facing now and have been some headwinds, whether it's, and we'll get into the details of the headwinds, but even just the overall environment that you've articulated, it turns out that having your books done and understanding how you're doing becomes less of an afterthought and a compliance exercise, and more of like, oh, it turns out I can get a better sense of how I'm doing at a granular level, like whether it's cash flow or whether it's profitability, et cetera. And so I think at a high level, we're actually through this tough environment. We're seeing demand, continue quite high, but almost for a different reason, where people are really looking to get deeper into their financials as opposed to having to do it, like more like going to the dentist. Now it's more like they're seeing the insights they can achieve. How does Acuity sense? So we work with at A2X thousands of accountants and bookkeepers, and so we have a pretty good lens on the kind of the market more broadly. Mostly, I think 70-ish% of our business is in North America, of which most of that's in the US. I'm from Canada, so there's a small business in Canada. I would say, and I'm not just saying this, and we haven't really discussed this, but Acuity is extremely impressive, and is right up there in terms of building out a successful firm. And by that I mean, this tough environment isn't just for e-commerce sellers. I think, more broadly, I'm guessing everyone in here would probably agree. It's been a tough time for a lot of people, and those struggles can be everything from, from mental health and from a wellness standpoint to adjusting to working from home versus in office or combined, and what's their, home situation like for working. And if you have a family, there's all sorts of stuff going on. And so that isn't just e-commerce sellers, that's also for accounting firms and their people as well. And so something I've said over many years is that people are everything. It's kind of an obvious insight, and I think, it was alluded to this morning, people are everything. And so when it comes to accounting firms, and what we've seen is that there's been real struggles with firms and people, whether it's being able to hire amazing people, retain them, compensate them at levels that maybe they feel they now are entitled to, and all those types of challenges. And it seems to me that I've known Kenji and Matthew and you and Patti for many years, and just the combination of what you guys bring together. It's beyond just the four of you, but knowing you for so long, is this. It just seems to be a group of human beings that are coming together and trying to build a firm where it's really about people are everything and people first. I mean, this whole event is an example. And so when you do that, my view is, I'm talking too long, sorry, but my view is that, our North Star is creating a work experience at A2X, and we did this at HubDoc before, where everyone comes to work, and ultimately 25 years from now they'll say that was the best place I've ever worked. And so I think it seems like Acuity / Catching Clouds is doing the same thing. And so if you created a work environment where people are loving coming to work and feel great about their colleagues and the work that they're doing, and it's purposeful for them, it turns out delivering great client experience and customer experience follows. And so I don't know. I guess it's a compliment. You weren't fishing for that, but you guys are up there. If not, you're right up there at the top in terms of succeeding as a modern accounting firm.